money them a cheat. And them a sell out the beach. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy Kenyan, we can't buy time. You can't for me again. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch a line and I resort to crime. You can't for me again. Promise to pick up all the charities and all of the giver. Some of like say they're powerful, you know make a bigger. The already promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth and rough and it's going in the whatever. Them a bull money and they lie them. Corruption smell and they pocket them smell. When police do a market like Satan out of hell go mash up people start and people them fell. Keep on me. What they treat the market man. Keep on me. What them a treat them. Global TV send another one. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, Global TV, I send them home. Yeah, man, this is Michael Buckley. I tell you, say, yo, the Global TV, yeah, man, me represent that 100%. Play the music, Global. Boom, shell.
It's raining inside. Hallelujah. It's raining inside. Amen. Good evening. It's the start of another week. It is Sunday, the 7th of April. They say tomorrow is the eclipse in North America. Good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us this evening. I hope you all have a lovely weekend, feeling revived and ready to start a new week of financial slavery. But never mind, we still have to get on with it to survive. Good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Good evening to those on the X, on the Twitch, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Good evening and welcome. Good evening to everyone on the live. Good evening to everyone in the chat. Good evening to my community party. Good evening to all my family members. Good evening to all my moderators, membership holders, live viewers, commenters, sharers, likers. Good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. It is really appreciated to have your support. The platform is now at 12.7K. I know there's a lot of you who watch the program but is not yet subscribed. Please take us up to 13K. Thank you very much. So if you have not yet subscribed, yes, please do hit the subscribe button. Good evening all, and welcome. Annie Smith, Debbie Jarvis, good evening and welcome. Gloria Morris, Shauna Smith, good evening and welcome. JP, Untainted Congal, JC, good evening and welcome. Colleen Stewart, good evening and welcome. Good evening. Carlene Jones, Paula Shelley, Miranda Roddick, good evening and welcome. Patricia Matthews, good evening and welcome. Michelle Lewis Wilson, good evening and welcome. Liebert Peart, good evening and welcome. Natalia Freeman, good evening and welcome. Jamaican Carlos, how are you, bro? Good evening and welcome. Real Sweet, good evening and welcome. Olimar Pressful, good evening and welcome. Beat and Teach, Wagwan. Good evening all and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. 2 people from my community could have died in what appeared to be a gangland shooting in my local township yesterday in Black River, Marseille. I say good evening and welcome. 2 people from my community could have died. I'll play these two videos one by one for you, then I'll explain.
Yeah. I know, but the doggy just passed me look a while. Me rat if a doggy just passed me a look a while and I go down. Yes, beg your pardon. See there.
Don Clark, good evening and welcome. Now, let me correct something for the public, which most people will not know, but our community knows. Doggy is not the brother that was shot. There's two brothers that look like twin. If you're not from the community, you wouldn't know that they're not twins. That's Liebert Bennett, that's the one called Doggy. And then you have Tony Bennett, which is the one they call Ayatree. Ayatree was the one that was shot. He was the one that received the shot in his hand yesterday. Both people who were shot yesterday are people with impairment. Tony has serious hearing impairment. I doubt he would hear what's going on around him until he's been shot or so. Then I'll play the next video for you.
Get shot to blood clot, the shot fly through the man's foot. Watch your man shoe full of blood. Man shoe full of blood. Police and giant all of them blood clot. Here gunshot. Shot a fire like whoa! Police and pull up out this a while ago. Police and run gone. The man them gone over the bridge. They move the child on them down a blood clot. I make a me with my car load.
Now, the gentleman who got shot in his foot, you hear they refer to him as Bapham. His correct name is Glenford Drummond, but we, in the community, we call him Bapham. Bapham is mentally and socially impaired. So the two people who was shot yesterday are people who suffers challenges. So you see, Jamaica, how any of us, the innocent, can get caught up in this gangland warfare all across our country. Now, when you hear Holness talk about the sleep with windows and doors open, he coined that phrase of what my community was up until the modern era here in the 70s and 80s up to the early 90s, Liebert period. Our community was the community where you could sleep with your windows and door open. You got Black River, you just jaw up your door and you're gone about your business. Lilith Foster, good evening and welcome. But I wonder where the young men of Vineyard, as I'm told, that there are two communities in Vineyard going against each other. So hence them a take out them shooting in a neutral venue, so none of it don't safe anymore. Out of where the shooting happened, I just about anybody could have out this up because I out this up. The whole of we go wait on taxi to go where we go. Most of it, especially those who are going over the bridge. Annie Jones, good evening and welcome. Lilith Foster. Am I surprised of Black River police actions? Hell no. Am I surprised of Black River police actions? Now, from where the shooting takes place, they immediately turn over the bridge. Now, once you go over the bridge, you have one straight road until you get to, me can't judge things in a mile, but somebody correct me, about 2 miles, yeah? Angela 48349, correct me from Angela, from Bridgefoot to Outer Crane. About 2 miles there, so. So when you get to that 2 miles there, so you have only two routes to go. You continue straight on your left, go into what we call Darkest. And then if you turn right, you're coming exactly into my community called Parity. Now, if these young men are from Vineyard, it's more highly likely they would, when they get to Crane, they would continue straight up on the left, because further up on the left, you get to some side roads, such as to exit to Cotterbo, to exit to Vineyard, to exit to Arlington. Maxine, Jacqueline Murray, good evening and welcome. So an easy trace yesterday would have captured these shooters, because anywhere they go one straight road, them a go pan. If they take left when they go up the road, are still one straight road, them a go pan. But am I surprised of Black River Police? No. You only get Black River Police to react if them here say drugs fine in our community. Call them now and tell them say drugs fine. The amount of big vehicle and big gun. You see, I go to the community, I terrorize people, want to find out where the drugs is and who have it. Not that they're coming to do crime fighting. They're coming to claim ownership. Am I surprised of Black River Police Station? Worthless, cutlass them. Rub them together, then become dollar. You see the case where they drive woman to cash pine, take out her money, sexually assault her, and all sorts. I'm not surprised with Black River Police who run for cover. I'm really not surprised. Black River Police don't deal with live ongoing incidents. It has to be done first. It has to be done first before Black River Police come. But this is where our community has come to know. Quiet Black River. You can barely find taxi to go home after 6:30. Most of the time, we have to phone somebody in these modern days, so with our peers that come pick we up. Because everybody knows that as cap cross a Black River lockdown. Why the gun crime is getting out of hand across the entire country, but you see no national plan. Not from the previous commissioner, not from this one, not for the last 8 years. We have not seen a crime plan, but yet, especially the gun crime and murder, continue to spiral out of control. And then when them find 1, 2 gun, them want to make it look to like say they've done the greatest thing. They've done the greatest thing you can. They could ever done. But yesterday, they allowed those criminals to get away. They did that. But then again, they're on daily. How you expect them to operate with sense? How you expect them to operate with sense? Well, when rain a fall at night time, police officer have to get up, jump up, go to a door to not get wet. If them have to jump up out of them bed, crack of dawn, twilight and night, jump up out of them bed, run go to a door for go shelter rain, what do you expect? Don't you think our police are mentally challenged and mentally deranged just by the oppressive working condition they're being put through? Only not think we police them need mental health support and mental evaluation just based on the work stress alone. If police officers have to jump up out of them bed at night time to go shelter rain out a road, don't expect them not to be mentally depressed.
Water.
Me not say ask Christ nothing. Rain no fall so hard out a door. Rain no fall so hard out a door. So anybody naturally in this condition, you would have to go to door, go shelter rain, because you wouldn't get less wet standing under a mango tree, a apple tree, or a guinea tree. Me say, you would be better off under a mango tree, a guinea tree, or an ackee tree. So if you have it there in your bed at night time, you now can't sleep because you sleep and listen for rain. You sleep and plan to get up, run, go to the door, go shelter from rain. Whenever the rain falls so hard out of the Lord Jesus. I didn't get time because I cleaned my library, my photo gallery. Me sure Andrew and Nesta during election, beat and teacher, someone I know you pull me up. Them, you know them green pamphlet where Andrew they are published, say manifesto. Did you not see them telling us how much police station they've renovated? What 100 and how much? Somebody have to remember. I know me one. If me don't army remember, so them tell we say 100 and add. You know remember how much they had? I think it was 30 odd. Vivian Hamilton, good evening and welcome. So how they missed the one there so fatally, Pamela McNeil. How they missed out a door there so. But then again, inside them are fix and this so out a door so you can see how the confusion fall in there so. It's a mad, mad world. Or parliament, or state. We can fairly use the phrase now. It's a mad, mad world. Hurry strong, we're going to continue play it, until you come out, come tell we say you fix it. Hurry strong. Shall I read good evening and welcome? Me never seen so much rain fall outside yet. So anybody in a them working condition there is to be pitied. But you might ask yourself, why is the entire country so silent? That even public servants are willing to take crap that some of us aren't willing to take for very, very, very meager salary. One that cannot help them. Leonie Ramsey, can't remember the other name, but she said, to tell yourself, she was the first female officer with traffic cop. She said, to tell yourself, there's much more important thing than gender neutrality. Me hear not talk say it's a part of the transformation of the force. How denying a woman to be a woman and enforce Tamira and enforce on a somewhat agenda, on a Western agenda. You see degenderizing the force as something transformative. Who tell you that woman don't want to be called first female officer, high-ranking female? Who tell you so? Europe. Europe and America is saying, come to the Jess in a skirt and heels with beard. Come tomorrow, Jess, in a jacket suit with wig and heels. Come tomorrow, Jess, in gentleman and jacket suit. The contention, though, because I had that in workplace in this country. Ron Williams. When me call you upon which they come confused. Because so, at my workplace, I don't speak to those people who push that particular gay agenda. Because me not go sit down and puzzle in my mind when me go call you today. Because sometimes, and in my view, there's a difference between the gay agenda and the queer agenda. Gay people just want to be gay. The queer ones are the one who used to want to change everybody. Today you feel wear heels. Today you feel wear trainers. Today you feel wear skirt. I've had to deal with these things in my workplace. And what I'd rather do is not speak to these people. Because they can't tell me as another gay person I'm homophobic. I don't speak to them. Because what? I'm not going to go through the bother of my soul to know who I'm dealing with today. Stay in whoever you are. It doesn't bother me. But one thing you don't do, don't use it to confuse me. I am what I am. I am my own special creation. And I don't want to change me nor nobody. That is the queer agenda. It is the queer agenda where you just want to change everybody. Everybody to be them. And this is where Holness is taking the country under somewhat, the queer agenda. That's the agenda it is. It is that agenda they are driving, not the gay agenda, the queer agenda. Isn't it rather surprising? Dance hall, Rastafarian community, church community, the cultural communities, they are so silent to the gender issue. And look who them are used to spearhead it. the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Because what? They are the one who are going to implement and police these hate laws. That is where Andrew Holness is taking the country. The sad reality is Jamaica just sit down and accept anything. Why are you so in fear? Even the queer agenda, where everybody used to stand up to everybody like flat now. What is happening? Are people being paid like the government? Christine Gilbert, good evening and welcome. Are people being paid like the government to be silent? What is your opinion on Samoa, Mount Golden? Some African countries are not having it. Places like Ghana and Uganda, and I think Kenya, they're not having it. The problem is our government can be led on a rotten thread. You can lead our politicians on rotten thread. This is how weak and spineless and easy they are to roll over when it got to do with their pocket. Ask them to stand up for the nation. Audrey Robinson, good evening and welcome. Holness promised you a crime plan for 8 years, and he has not furnished you with it. But he's degenderizing women. And Jamaica is silent. Not a word. I wonder where is Sizzler, Capleton. I know Queen Africa will speak. But I wonder what happened to Capleton, Sizzler. I know Bunty will speak. Buju will speak. But what happened to the Fireblazers? I wonder if a visa. I wonder if a visa are because of friendship with politicians. But you're all rather silent. Very silent. But Andrew Holness, a lot of people, Master Garnett, good evening and welcome. A lot of people are talk, and this particular issue now that we're going to look at, we're not going to drop it. Somebody tag Mark Golden. Because Mark Golden, I get on my nerve, you know. Somebody tag Mark Golden. Somebody tag Mark Golden. Momentum, Mr. Golden. Momentum, especially in an election cycle, Mr. Golden, is something that you do not let die. A momentum, Mr. Golden, 15 months before a general election, is something to walk with hand in gloves every day, Mark Golden, up until polling day, September 2025. The steam, Mr. Golden, we're not seeing it anymore. There's a lot, Mr. Golden, to continue to rabble-rouse the country about, especially, Mr. Golden, on good governance where it hurts. Cronyism. There's an awful lot for you to pick up and run with and keep the momentum going, Mr. Golden. It's not about picking up the momentum when Parliament is dissolved for the next general election. It's about beating your opponent into submission. But you look like you fall, by the way, Mr. Golden. Tariq Antonio, good evening and welcome. It looked like you have fallen, by the way, Mr. Golden. There's a lot of pressure. You should rabble rousing across the country with this issue to do with Miss Curtis. Yesterday was one of our most cringe day in democracy. We never see nobody resign on Saturday yet. Nobody retired on Saturday yet. Douglas Allen, good evening and welcome. It was one of the most cringed day in democracy yesterday. I know nobody run across the country and tear out them here and ask, say, you don't hear nobody run across the country. I tear out them here now, nothing. This cannot continue, people. Without you being able or willing to stand up for something, I guarantee you, nothing will change. Because those at the very top really don't give two hoots about you. But before me go on to ECJ or EOJ, whichever one they be, Danny Bennett, Uncle Ben, good evening and welcome. War in the courtroom. We turn America now. But it's not the defendant a jump out of box, go attack judge. A lawyer will seem to want more respect and authority. You all must have heard about the chaos, but my problem to the Gleaner, why me can't find this story in a European? Me can't find it in a Star. Why you not talk about it, Gleaner? I mean, if that happened in our courtroom, the day before, I mean, hey, Jesus, these are the branches of government, you know. You have three branches of the Constitution who forms the government. The three branches of your Constitution. Your judiciary, your courts, which is a check and balance to the Parliament's legislative power and also the executive power. You have the head of the legislature forced out a civil servant. You see the catastrophe going on in our country. And then the other branch of government, of your Constitution, the judiciary, big battle between judge and lawyer. Till it is said, protection officer of the judge have to intervene. Michelle Johnson. Will Brian Sykes, the head of the judiciary, explain to the public what happened in our court? That's Brian Sykes' area. Or if the justice don't want to come in public and explain, then it is the duty of the Ministry of Justice to explain to us what happened in court on Friday. And why the Gleaner isn't carrying the story. So you see you see there's a breakdown in governance in our country. War in the court, which is one branch of the Constitution. Then you have the other two branches of the Constitution, the executive, which is Holness and him cabinet, and other agencies. And you have the head of the legislature, which is Holness' wife / second baby mother. Forced out a civil servant. Is this not the collapse of a state? Is this not the collapse of a state? But let us listen to the former director of election and a very serious and important issue that Mark Golding need to pay attention to. The country must not go back into an election under this current debacle we went to the local government election under?
Parliament passed an amendment to the Electoral Commission Interim Act of just prior to the local government elections. Parliament passed an amendment to the Electoral Commission Interim Act of 2006 that subsumed the functions of the political ombudsman into the election commission and made every electoral commissioner ombudsman or ombudswomen. This is by far the worst legislation affecting electoral laws passed by the Jamaican Parliament since becoming a nation in 1962. It has no equal. Subsuming the functions of the political ombudsman into the election commission and making each commissioner a political ombudsman or woman fundamentally alters the commission and brings every commissioner into direct engagement with the minutiae of partisan politics, adjudicating complaints of intemperate speech, silly public behavior, disputes about color, posters, paraphernalia, and graffiti in a period of heightened political partisan bravado and emotions in election campaigning, and without any sanctions to apply to deviance, is likely to diminish respect for both the Electoral Commission and its commissioners. In the past, the political ombudsman, while doing some good, was ignored by some candidates and their agents who defied their rulings, disregarded agreements reached, violated codes of conduct, all without consequence. To bring such impunity into the Electoral Commission is grossly unwise. Between nomination day and election day, the election center comes in as official space in which all the stakeholders and actors involved in the electoral process can meet and resolve problems, coordinate events, issue authentic information. Now, the election center is composed of one representative of each of the PNP, one of the JLP, one of the security forces, one of the Jamaica umbrella group of churches, one from CAFE, one from international observers. The political ombudsman and the director of elections. Now, when the election center meets, if a matter is of a political nature, the political ombudsman presides. The director of election remains silent. If it is an electoral matter, the director of election presides. Political ombudsman tames out of it. Now, if any commissioner becomes involved in that, the selected commissioners would either become triply compromised by office, and the director or the nominated members would change the balance of composition of the center. And if both abstain, the director of elections will be left to deal with both electoral and political matters, which is highly unwise. However, it gets even worse. This is where it gets worse. In passing this absurd, unworkable, impractical, unprecedented change. Both the government and the opposition participated in breaking the convention upon which all of Jamaica's progress since independence, since 1979, has been based. You say, what is that? What is that convention? It is very, very simple. Remember, Parliament is supreme. You cannot order Parliament to do anything. It's the supreme body. More than that, the party with the majority can do what it wants because it has the majority. But here's the convention agreed to by both the PNP and the JLP since 1979. It is this, that the party that holds the majority will not use its majority to pass into law any legislation affecting an electoral matter by using that majority to do so. Because I guarantee you that the weaknesses that I've pointed out and the problems I've pointed out is going to occur in every single election conducted while it is in place. The foolishness is not going away. It is going to be exposed by experience going forward. And at that time, it has to be fixed. And I hope that by then, when it is fixed, people will already recognize that we must keep the convention. I'm saying this. I hope, my prayer and hope is that good sense will prevail. And both the government and the opposition will go back to Parliament and rescind, repentant. Will repent of this and make the local government election of February 2024 the only election that is conducted on this foolishness. So there is hope.
Oh my God, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I didn't realize. Sorry about that. Mary Messenger TV, good evening and welcome. Shauna Smith, good evening and welcome. Ronnie Harlan, good evening and welcome. Ronald B, good evening and welcome. Colleen Dormer, good evening and welcome. Good evening. Joan Higgins, good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. This is all more why Mark Golden should be pushing on this issue. Yes, Mark Golden spoke against the issue. I wouldn't agree that Mark Golden was in cahoots with Andrew in relation to violating that convention. That was done because of Andrew majority. Mark Golden and his team spoke up against it. They did not have the voting power, neither in the House of Representatives or the House of Senate, to vote against such bill. The problem here is Andrew Holness 40-odd thieves. The only of which who stood up against that when it was happening was the father Smoother. Was it what? Carl Smoother, wasn't it? Carl Smoother was the only one who stood up to Andrew in the Jamaica Labour Party. So when it comes to do with the convention not to legislate within an election period where it would affect an election, I wouldn't agree that Mark Golden agreed to break the convention, because legislatively he couldn't have done anything. What Mark Golden, though, should have done is taken the issue to the Constitutional Court. And another thing, in my view, which I wish to make clear for my audience, Parliament may be the supreme body, but the Constitution sits above Parliament, meaning when Parliament is legislating, it must legislate not to contravene the Constitution, not to go against the Constitution, because it's the higher power. So all of these legislation, because of the Constitution, can be challenged in the courts, unlike in the British Parliament, where there is not a written constitution. Then you cannot challenge the supremacy of Parliament. But here it is the Constitution of Jamaica that is supreme, and you can challenge an act of Parliament to see that it does not contravene the Constitution. So that's my correction for that. A question to Christopher Tufton. Can you tell Jamaicans if you are enriching yourself from the debt of Jamaicans by way of profiting from the afterlife care? Always observing. Good evening and welcome. Is Dr. Tufton profiteering in the afterlife care of Jamaicans? Rather than tell us enough to call your name, it is more important that you answer these questions. Because you jumping and prancing over the place like Nigel, now go really prevent me from continuing to asking these questions, because they're relevant to us to ask. And another question, Dr. Tufton, what is your fascination with the beaches of Western Jamaica? I am Roger Forbes. Roger Forbes is my brother. Good evening and welcome, bro. What is Dr. Chris Tufton's fascination, Noreen Robinson, with Western Jamaica beaches? Because when you know the pandemic a perform, Dr. Tufton, you the pandemic do drugs, illegal drug shipment, are you the pandemic arrest, so-called drug dealers, you and your businessman friend them, Dr. Tufton. Dr. Tufton is one of our politicians who really ought to go to prison for negligence. And Dr. Tufton ought to be done for corporate manslaughter. The way Jamaicans are dying because of lacking in our national health care, it is one of the reasons, because they're confused, maybe don't know which one at the moment. But all politicians are going to have a corrupt justice system where we're going to tell us that we're not understanding. But there is enough anisiment that they are denying us at the state level, where we should be able to, on the ground at home, take negligence and corporate manslaughter lawsuit against them. When you have to put treatment, cancer treatment on hold because the one dege machine broke down. I want everything, one X-ray, one dialysis, one CT. I want everything. Want everything healthcare. Our healthcare is one of everything, but we don't have an ambulance, so we can't say one of it. But everything else, I want everything across the whole country. We not talk about one of everything in each hospital. One of everything across the country. Tell me if these politicians not go to prison. Given the amount of money that Minister Archer cannot account for in the National Health Service, given the overrun, I think $19 billion overrun, or $20 billion or $21 billion overrun for Cornwall, is it not? Dead babies pile up. See, one new report has come out about bacteria will affect woman fertility. How much does the Minister of Health, how much is the Minister of Health hiding from the Jamaican people with regards to their health? If it's terrible so, and the deal with the racists, not in action yet, how when Christopher team up with racist Frank Hester, who wants to kill black women? Now, do you see the danger here? Christopher show no regards for your life, women, men, or children. Georgia Dennis. And this same Christopher is teaming up with a hardcore racist, one that wants to have all black women killed. Do you see the danger that continue to surround us? The minister of perform by Negril Beach, his version at Cottage in Negril. Why didn't you go to Fern Gully to perform, minister? You notice in Jamaica, there's no press conference from our public officials or our politicians when serious things happen in our country. You know, say in America and Britain, no serious incident can happen. And head of the police and them like the way deal with that incident there. Don't come have a press conference and inform the public. A Jamaica alone was struggling at the dark. A Jamaica alone was struggling at the dark when anything happened. Where else in the Western world you think this election we had on the 26th of February gone would have happened? And we wouldn't have to have a press conference. And Canada too, yes. All of these countries, whenever time there's a serious incident, a press conference, as soon as you get your head around what is happening, you have to inform the public and update them as much as you can with regards to the issue and not to jeopardize any investigation or so which is going on. That is true. 90% of the time, mainstream media don't carry the incident because they big showdown in a court and a ungo the star may find it in a ungo the star. Mr. put out publication on it. But that's our country. A globalist called me today, but we're still a soaker. A globalist called me today who seemed to have just recently come across the platform. And him said, Mr. Wayne, sir, when you tear him up again, make sure nobody not find the pieces them. When you tear him up again, make sure nobody don't find the pieces them. Minister of Gender, all sort of affair. Minister of Misogyny. Minister of Hug Up and Dance. Minister of Enjoyment. We're going to continue to soak you. Because we're getting the benefit of the doubt. Laxi Gregory. We're giving you the benefit of the doubt. So you're sick. You're in a hospital. You're in a bed. EM, good evening and welcome. We are going to give you the benefit of the doubt. You're sick. You're in a bed. Poorly in a hospital. So we're going to have to wait until you come out to tell you if Miss Curtis is a woman or not. And if the Prime Minister who stood by and allowed his wife to use her power against Miss Curtis, if the Prime Minister is a misogynist and a sexist, is the Prime Minister an ageist? We're giving you the benefit of the doubt. You're in a hospital. You're doing well. You're sick. You don't know what going on out here. Because they say you don't have to read paper in a hospital. Maxine comments. Good evening. So we'll wait till you come out of hospital, Babsy. Because you have to come out, you're not on the forever. You're going to have to come out here, come face the music. Come underline the sentence with the misogyny, Linval Grant. Come underline Mark Golding's speech, the misogyny part of it. Make we know. We can't see corruption. We can't see nepotism. We can't see lie and misleading narratives. How do you see it when I tell them? Look how much when I was running around the whole place. Mr. Golden a lie. There is no report. Blind Aga was the first one to come out. But to the thieving criminal, Edmund Bartlett. The criminal, Edmund Bartlett, who committed crime against, we can't call him criminal. I've watched Edmund Bartlett committed crime against Jamaican people. Challenge me. White River. Blue Lagoon. So no can challenge upon them something there. Violet Watson. JB, good evening and welcome. But we will continue to soak Babsy. Mr. Floyd Green, I talk about 300 acre Aki, mango, and all sorts. Floyd Green is from St. Elizabeth. He knows the terrain of St. Elizabeth, especially where the side of St. Elizabeth where Flight Green come from. Flight Green know a lot of farmland on the south side. A lot of farmland on the south side we need rescue. Tennessee girl, good evening and welcome. But Flight Green is not interested in reviving St. Elizabeth farming. Have no interest because they might get them friend them for carrying substandard food. Come give way. And I get tax break panic too. But me notice since the election, on just a walk around and I make all these little promises, but deal with the health of the people. The mining in our country, some of them illegal because the country don't know about them and not just take them up and give to a friend and company them. And Jamaica not benefit out of them except for dying out of them, and Christopherton and Archer continue to enrich themselves out of dying Jamaicans. Lee respect for it. Good evening and welcome.
When dry time come down, you have a lot of dust blow come over. When dust a blow come over, as close as me with it to you, me can't see you. And then something there. And you see when night time come, me don't know what kind of chemical or where they have a release from over there. One night when time me then in my bed asleep. When me smell I want stink something, when time me say stink, man, it stink unbearable. So same time me wake up for my boyfriend and me say to him, say, go on, you smell that they sent there? I go and say, yes, he smell it. In night me have to get up and throw disinfectant in all corners of the house to get out the scent out of there, to get a relief from the scent. Me don't know where them a do over there, but Master wish slowly but surely I got dead under them and mine him something down in a Marsville. Water them polluted with him can get a nice cup of water for drink like a one time. Nothing can go on for you down here, so. Not a thing, just mash up the plants, the crops you plant to Kalalu. So you will get if you name, you can't get if you eat for wet. When time you wake up in the morning, I be a white dust depending when I know the white one or the red one. They really need to do something about the dust. They really and truly need to do something. See, we there go do we look farming now. We saw one bed round there. By the time you look again, see dry time come, you know, say it does go blow. And by the time you look, the whole of the bed I go just start burn down, clean, not even look farming you can do to help yourself.
So it affect you a lot.
A lot, a whole heap. And when you call and you complain, it don't make no sense. Because when time they come, then take one sample. By the time you reach up at Alpha, by the time you reach at Alpha, you hear say, enough of them dust blow, so I want to affect with them. What is affecting us? They really need to do something.
Well, you know,
Murder to blood clot, people!
So if the science that they're using can tell them, say enough for them just, should the same science, though, be able to tell them which part the dust have come from? Because the science said, computer say enough for your dust. Does computer know whose dust is it? Because one thing we know, our people are dying from it. And Jamaicans, you need to understand this. Wherever you have fertile lands, your politician and their corporation friend and their private investors are not afraid to kill you or push you off that land, Colleen James, for their economic gain and advantage. So wherever you see these things happening to us, it's because of the rich land we live upon. Bros, good evening and welcome. So they're not afraid to kill we are, to make sure them have well land to dig out the rich resources out of it. The sad reality is your governments don't care if these mining operators kill you, as long as your governments are being fat-pocketed out of this excursion. Unnecessary, we're surrounded. Talk truth. Are we not surrounded by criminals? Have they not committed heinous crimes against us on a daily basis? Is there a point where the nation will become fed up of this type of authoritarian, abusive, barbaric, and dictatorial treatment? When you don't say that the whole country is collapsing. Husband and wife own parliament and government. And over court, they saw them a fight. Police have to run out of them room, go and shelter rain out a door. People in our hospital lay down on floor and wait for bed. 2024, and we have one fancy thing what they call water shop, where we know it as water tank. When we there go to school, most school in Jamaica have a water tank. We're going back in that fancy phase under the term, what you call it? What the bag around so that water shop. Jesus, them all style it up. Because when I heard of this water shop, it puzzled me, and it was one of you globalists here who explained to me what these water shops that they're talking about. Is it shop though? It's the first that I come across my mind if you answer that, ask this question. Is it shop in that water is selling, or it is there freely for the community to go and got a modern standpipe? Modern day standpipe, they call it water shop. When you see how these people bring we down but use fancy word to make it sound like them do anything I go on, water shop. No, not standpipe. In the days of our standpipe, we used to have more access to water. When we had our standpipes across our community, when Jamaica had free water, when Jamaica or Noreen is saying the water shop water is free, when Jamaica had free water in our community, we did have several standpipes. So we walk from school, go home. You have a standpipe off a Mame Gully, and then you have a standpipe. You used to have one near down where Tassia there now, and then you have one down at Springfield. And did we have standpipe out at Johnny Keene as well? And we have standpipe at Windad and Lord. So in our community then, we have whole heap of standpipe where even though you never have running water in your house then, we did have standpipe all over our community. Now, we don't understand pipe. Them take out with local pump. And ever since that, we've been in a water crisis continuously. The country is collapsing and going backwards. In the 70s and 80s, we had a lot more access to more things. Everything dried up now. We become modern and backwards. We have become modern and backwards. That is what has happened to our country. What is the cause of that? Failed leadership. Leadership standing on corruption. Leadership tainted by corruption, leadership tainted by nepotism, leadership, amazing grace, tainted by cronyism. This is our failure. One of the things about our country across all walks of it is the issue of enforceability of rules and regulation. The truth is, it's not that we don't have them. There's a lack of enforcement in the area of good governance. There are frameworks to hold our politicians accountable. The issue is the issue of enforceability. Another issue is the issue of independency. Is our police, is our investigators able to act independent of the government and their hierarchies? Independency and accountability and enforceability. Rules are not enforced against corrupt hierarchies, whether there be politicians, they're in the security service, or them could even bloody come from SSL or Alliance, Financial, whatever galangin. Tell them to come from Tivoli, no? Tell them to come from Tivoli. I tell them to come from anywhere where Steve McGregor can go draw you from under bed, put you in front of camera. That was the incident that should have opened every Jamaican eye. When your government sent police under bed for you, but never mind just that. That government told you in that incident that they had the technology to pinpoint and find him. That same government cannot use that same technology, Verna Shaw. That same government cannot use that same technology in its national crime plan. It could be used, though, when the Prime Minister was offended, when he was told to go northern south. But it all goes back to the people, though. We settle for anything they throw at us. And if we don't throw it back and say, no, we're not having that, they're going to continue to throw more at you. The more they think you can take, the more they will throw at you. Because everybody thinks to say, government is the be-all and end-all. We don't have to let these people lead us blindly. One of my uncle always said, blind can't lead blind. This is what happened to few country at the moment. Our country has been blinded by corruption. And our country is being led by a fleet of blind, corrupt, criminal-minded, criminal action politicians. Situation blind aga. That's what our country has become. Situation blind aga. Fumbling and feeling in the dark. That's criminal Edmund Bartlett. Sometimes I think them people are mad or a wee fool. Can come tell we say, after Andrew Holness' second baby mother insulted Dorothy Brown, a civil servant in our parliament, the issue to correct it is too sensitive to deal with in the parliament. Did you all allow Miss Curtis to go without an apology. Can Babsy speak and women are gender? But she have to go shut up on gender now, because it don't make no sense. If them a degenderize the thing, as Carlos would have said, Holness batty up the thing, then there would be no reason for the genderism with Babsy, and no reason for the womanism. I wonder if that's why Babsy can't talk, because she knows that the last person the genderism I got apply to is Juliet. Juliet was Jamaica's final woman before the fishified law. If you all allow this government to take you in this direction, you're going to have problem on your hands. You're going to have to force to start having white men in skirts and heels amongst you. And I know some Jamaicans will follow suit. Because all of them are monkey see, monkey do, you see. But people, we can't just sit down like this. And as I said to Babsy, said, we still assault you and we still soak you. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt, so you don't know what I'm going yet. Are you in a hospital? You're poorly, Babsy, you're not well. So we'll give you the benefit of the doubt till you have to get better, you know. You have to get better, and we're going to meet your own Cajun corner when you get better. We want to hear your view on the sojourning issue. We want to hear your view on the treatment of Miss Curtis. We want to hear from you if you thought Miss Curtis was pushed earlier than she should have by the Holnesses. Here's the Shida Carnival. So she not sick, she busy. All right, we'll wait till you come home and settle down and put up your foot, Babsy. Because you have to come home. You have to come home, and we're going to meet you around Cajun Corner. Because this is something where you and Edmund Bartlett and Juliet Holness and Anjo and Nesta and Nigel and Horace Chang are on the front, the onslaught against Miss Curtis, you know. I want to fund the onslaught against Miss Curtis. See there? See there? Minister of fun and enjoyment. As long as a fun and enjoyment, Jamaica, we can always hold on there upon our Facebook page. Make her safe. I go to our Facebook page quickly and find Minister of Fun and Enjoyment. Because Babsy not do nothing else. Every time you say Babsy, it's about fun and enjoyment. And they call themselves honorable. They wouldn't use the word dishonorable, you know. Them use the word honorable. Hold on there. Let me show you the criminal. Let me show you the criminal. That's all I go say. I same thing me and make up. Panar. Them your criminal, yeah. Why no, me no want you to go there, so. Coming on here, no volume on it, or no volume not upon it. Hold on there. No, the video not have no volume. You have volume, but it's very low. Hold on, let me see if I bring it up. Show no. Minister of Fun and Enjoyment. The video is silent for copyright purposes. Can I bring her bigger? She not do nothing else, you know. She not do nothing else other than walk and rub up on man. The only time you see her, she enjoy herself. Minister of Fun and Enjoyment. What has she really done in her portfolio for women, really? If you're not a member of the Jamaica Labour Party, if you're not a woman in the Jamaica Labour Party, Babs, you know, see what happened to you in Jamaica. The only woman Babs can defend is woman affiliated to the Jamaica Labour Party, Minister Cougar. I wonder how much zinc fence you get drawn through after Carnival done. And them something at Jamaica pay for. Every time you see her, she have fun and enjoyment. But is it not what we deserve, though? Because if we just sit down, so silent mean consent. Go on here with your mash up, wicked, thieving, criminal, gun slinger, gang leader. Gang leader. Woman will rent car and buy gun. Give young boy. Hold on them. Let me turn off your bias of it up frighten me. Politician will buy guns and rent a car. Give young men to kill themselves. Politician who is a don and a gang leader. And these people call themselves honorable. See how long they come in and come in on a pocket with you. But if you want to continue to make them and them private sector friend them, get up and jump in on a pocket every day, a phone no problem. But I want to thank you all globalists for being here with us tonight. Thank you all for being here. Make sure you join us back tomorrow where we continue our week programming. And we will continue to look at the issue at our area. And anybody in Jamaica know who are the lawyer will attack the judge. Pinch we and tell we, man. We want to know the name of the top-ranking lawyer will attack judge in a court. It is important to call them out in a public. A long time, whole heap of things are going in our country where media hide from we. Where media now report from our media not tell we so. Are only people very close to the incident. Me no want ask Isaac beat and teach. Me want keep Isaac out of the trouble. Cause come over you hear them and go blame him say because of X, why Isaac a walk and call up their name. So me no want them go brand him. Say him spread propaganda upon them. But Brian Sykes or the Ministry of Justice should come out and address this issue. It goes so? It no go so? If it goes so, what's the process of the investigation? And at what point will we be able to know who the attacker was? And will he be disciplined, Millie McBean, if there's not a charge, if there won't be a charge against him? Will the GLC take a disciplinary against him? We need to know those things. How can this government repair its credibility without listening and acting? Remove Gillette Holness is a start. If both of you don't want to step down at the same time, Gillette Holness needs to go. Gillette Holness has brought our parliament into disrepute. Gillette Holness has shown incompetency, lack of understanding of the law and her portfolio. Gillette Holness, whose only claim to that job is because she's the baby mother of the Prime Minister, must go in order for credibility to come back into our parliament. If the Prime Minister and his family is listening, you cannot expect to repair the distrust across the country with your wife big-footed and strong-booted and determined that I am here on my merit and I'm going to stay. My baby father has nothing to do with me here. This issue must be solved because we are not going to back down on it. The wife of the Prime Minister needs to be removed as Speaker of the House. Yes, we will have to wait until September for her to be removed, September next year, for her to be removed as a politician. But the wife of the Prime Minister tenure as Speaker of the House is no longer tenable. She has violated the trust of office. She has violated her oath. She has acted out of jurisdiction. She had acted incompetently with little understanding of the law or her portfolio. Gillette Holness must go. Gillette Holness must go. Our democracy is under threat. We cannot speak anymore of the word rule of law when the wife of the Prime Minister, the Speaker of the House, is imposing disciplinary on civil servants. Gillette Holness needs to go. Our country and parliament has become a crying shame because of one family. Our country has been looked down at on the international scene because of one family. I wonder why the Americans are so silent on this dictatorialism in their backyard. I wonder why. Is it because you're pulling his string at the moment in order to dance your fiddle in Haiti? We are going to buy body bags. Because we know the Americans, they won't go push your front, go take the lick. There needs to be a call across the country. Everybody needs to join in the call for the Speaker of the House to go. The House cannot function with integrity and independence as long as Juliet Holness sits in that chair. She must go now. She has done enough to disrupt the status quo of our country. She has done enough to bring democracy into disrepute. Juliet Holness must go. I want to thank you all for being here with us tonight. And before I go, Jamaicans, don't make Andrew Holness and Nigel Clark telling us to go buy up Kango because Eclipse I got this and that, knowing that tomorrow night they may just turn off the light across the country and load them jugs boat them because we know say I saw them operate. Me come from a fishing village, and so you can't tell me what me soon I do. You can't tell me what me soon I do. Me come from a village who hope on a politician and businessman load ganja boat. And when I load ganja boat and turn off light, current gone so. And when ganja boat done load, light come back. So then they make Holness telling the monkey stories to go buy up Kango and this and that because Eclipse and don't be fooled by them. But thank you all very much, and please do return tomorrow when we will have our At a Glance program where we will look at the issues of the day, or we probably look at certain Sunday articles or commentary in the Gleaner, because Sunday is a day where them write a lot of those airy-fairy stories. But we did have a lot to ramble through tonight. And we have to keep reminding Jamaica that this is the condition that our police are working in. Hold on there.
Yeah, beer water.
Murder to blood clot, people.
Me sure say left rain fall out a door. Me not have to ask Christ. Me know me shelter rain better under mango tree, under guinea tree, and under ackee tree. Good evening from Global Television. Thank you for being here, and we will definitely see you tomorrow morning.